The woman was just eating a grilled fish, but she didn't expect her husband to come back from the sea. She quickly stuffed the uneaten fish into her mouth and then buried the branch on which she had strung the fish in the sand and then went out to greet her with a pretense of great concern. Seeing that his wife was so considerate, he took out 2 small fish from his pocket, although the catch was very small. She did not complain but even bragged about it. But then a poor man who was also stranded on the deserted island passed by and told him that the yellow fish were poisonous and that it would be dangerous to eat them. The rich man was devastated, and in order to prove to him that he could survive on the island, he took the poor man's diving goggles while he was asleep. But it was this action that he would regret for the rest of his life. When the boy rested and found the man is in the sea, forked fish look at the other like a fish in the water, he immediately realized the problem as he expected his own diving has disappeared. Thinking of this, he was immediately furious. The more he thought, the more angry. He took the harpoon to look for him to compete with each other, to be sure to settle old grudges and new ones together. The man's wife saw that the situation is not right and quickly pulled the boy to hold her. Heart does not want the two to conflict. But the boy had never been so aggrieved, and since he could not take it out on the man, he could only take it out on the woman. When the man came back from fishing, he passed by his shed with a smug look on his face, as if he was mocking him for being a good survivor with his own tools. What he didn't expect was the man's surprisingly calm reaction. At first, the man doesn't realize the problem, but when he shows off the fish to his wife, he notices that she is hiding something from him. Combined with the boy's unusual behavior and his wife's strange attitude, the man suddenly came to his senses. Although he was already furious, he could not help but swallow his teeth as he thought he was at a disadvantage. On the contrary, his wife's attitude made him unable to tolerate. Directly grabbed her hair and pulled to the front of the boy, wanted to let her know how big a mistake it was to leave him, but never thought that he had just left his wife on the other side of the warmth of the scene to watch from afar the man's face or angry green. In order to fight hard, he could only think of another way to see him first. Smashed the glass bottle to the bottom of the excess glass slag, grinding off the bottle. Then used the flame to soften the mouth of the bottle to the bottom of the bottle, beforehand polished and glued on the last use of discarded tire skins to simply seal the edges of a pair of simple version of the submarine crystal is ready. He couldn't wait to dive into the water and see the bottom of the sea clearly visible. He felt a sense of pride, but that wasn't enough. He had to get the fish free to get back in the game. But not long after the dive, he found a hole in the boat despite the holes in the hull. But as long as he could fix it, it was not only his hope to return to civilization, but also his bargaining chip to win over that couple of dogs. When he thought of this, the man was full of strength, but the boat was too heavy and held his breath in the water. But he did not pull it far. He had to float out of the water to change his breath. Even so, the man still did not want to give up. The intention of his tireless efforts finally dragged the boat out of the sea. This scene was just seen by the 2 men on the shore. They also understand that this is the opportunity to leave the island. So the 2 men rushed forward ready to help. The man expected this reaction and not only refused them, but also threatened to leave them alone on the deserted island for the rest of their lives. For the next few days, the man was alone on the beach repairing the boat, but just as he was about to finish the boat, a new problem arose, because to leave the island he had to have enough food. In order to prevent starvation on the way, the man dives into the sea with a harpoon. But it's during this time that his wife and the young man take a fancy to the boat.